All right, in this video, we're going to tackle part number 9, exercise number 9. So let's get started. We're going to go ahead and create our sketch, this time on the top view. This is a part that's best done, built from the bottom up. So we'll click on the top view, click on the XY plane this time. And we're going to go ahead and just draw this sort of pill shape down here, which we call a slot. As a matter of fact, under the Create tab is something we have not used before, but the slot tools. Because this is a slot, these tools make these a lot easier to draw. We could draw these without the slot tool, but of course, the slot tool is going to save us some time. So the first one is the one that we want, center to center slot. We'll see how that works once we click on it. So the first thing that you're going to want to do with the center to center slot is to just draw a straight line just like this. And then when you click to set the straight line, you'll notice that as you drag your mouse, you will set the width, or I guess the height of the slot. So the first line just determines how long it is, how wide it is, or how long it is. And then the second click is for how tall or how wide it is. And there you go. So what did this slot do? What did the slot tool do for us, right? So it creates a construction line. And that construction line connects the two center points of two arcs. Those arcs are tangent, as you can see, to a top and a bottom line, which is also the same length as that construction line. You see? So, perfect tool for something like this, because now I can go ahead and do a few things. I can set the distance between the two center points of those arcs, because if you look at the drawing, you'll notice that these circles, right? These circles do not have a dimension for where they are on the piece, like relative to the bottom, right? There's no measurement for the center of this circle to the edge of this piece here. There's no measurement anywhere on this drawing for that. Likewise, there's no measurement for the center of the circle and say, where this box part starts, or maybe at the very end of the arc. There's no measurement for how far in this is either. So when you don't have a measurement for a circle like that, but it is near an arc, we can safely assume, remember, we don't want to make a lot of assumptions when we look at a drawing. We want to take the drawing literally and look at all of the dimensions, but sometimes it's safe to make an assumption. And in this example, that's when this is okay. And that's when we have a circle next to an arc. We can safely assume that the center of that circle and the center of the arc are coincident. Or another word for that is concentric, right? Constrains two or more arcs, circles, or ellipses to the same center point. Like two round things share the same center point. Okay, so with all that babbling out of the way, let's go ahead and select the center tool, click on the center, and we can do 22 diameter there, and I'll do the same one on the other side, 22. Actually, what would be even better is if I just say that this circle is equal to this circle. Even better. All right, that way they're locked in. All right, I could change the distance between the two circles, and because they're coincident with the arcs, that's also the distance between the two center points of the arcs, as 114 right there, 114, enter. And the arcs themselves have a radius of 32. So let's go ahead and do that. To move this dimension to where it is on the drawing. Now that should set everything. The only reason that this isn't constrained yet is because it's not snapped anywhere on the canvas. So let's set the midpoint of this construction line to the origin. And we are fully constrained. So now I can finish the sketch, click home on the view cube, select this base, and extrude up the thickness, which is 19 millimeters. Click enter. Pretty simple. So you'll notice I made these two holes just by putting them on the sketch. I didn't use the hole tool. You know, sometimes we will, sometimes we won't. There isn't really a hard and fast rule for when you will and when you won't. You know, it's completely up to you as a designer to decide when that's going to happen. So there are some rules of thumb, but I'm not going to get into it in this video. Let's just keep on working. So now I'm going to click right on the view cube to create my next sketch inside the ZY plane. So I want to draw, right? I want to draw where this piece is getting cut in half like that. That's where I want this next part to start. So right on the view cube, clicking on this square. Don't click on the piece, click on the square. And now you'll notice when I click on the square, if I select this option right here, slice, if I select slice, I can actually see where I'm drawing with this cut in half like that, which is really useful because I'm basically going to draw this box and extrude it outwards in both directions. But let's go ahead and dimension that box. So I can use the line tool and make a line that goes up, to the right, and down. Right? Then I can do another line that will connect like this. All right. So now this dot here will be coincident with this line. This endpoint here will be coincident with this line. This dot here will be coincident with this point. And this one will be coincident with this point. We need a height for our box, right? And notice that it is 64 millimeters, but from the bottom of the piece. So that's important. So I have to select the very bottom of the piece when I do this and go up to the very top. Very important that I do that. All right, so this is 64. Then now I have to do the distance for this, like this blue line here. So if I look at the drawing, this line is 51 millimeters from the edge. And it is 13 millimeters from the bottom. So let's go ahead and do that now. From here to here is 51. I had to really zoom in to see that. From there to here is 13. Enter. All right. Looking good. One other thing I can do here, because notice that this is not blue, so I don't think if I finish the sketch, I can actually do any extrusions on this. So I'm going to go back into that sketch real quick. So what I have to do is I have to capture some of the geometry from this bottom part of this piece in order to close this shape, right? That's really, really important. So I'm going to go ahead and do that by going to Project Include and do Intersect. With the intersect tool, I'm going to change the filter to bodies and select the shape and click OK. Now, when I do that, notice that this shape turned blue. I'm going to go ahead and click Finish Sketch there. And now I can do my extrusions. So at first, I'm going to hide the body here. So I'm going to click on the little eyeball here by the body folder. I'm going to click right there so that I can select this triangle and then zoom in, hold down the control key, select that triangle. Actually, I take that back. I'm not going to do that at first. I'm going to do this one, because what I need to do is extrude this first and do symmetric whole length and do 64. And click OK. Then select this and this triangle. Extrude. Symmetric. 38 to create this slope, this little ramp right here. Whole length. 38. Click OK. And notice now that this cuts all the way to the bottom. That's really important. If you don't select that this other triangle here, notice how if you don't do that, you get this, it goes down and then it goes straight. All right. And we don't want that. That's not good. We want it to go all the way down, just like that. That's exactly what we want. All right. So once you're done, click OK. Click home on the view cube and take your screenshot. I hope that helped as always. And I will see you in the next one.